glad you liked it. If you need any tweaks or want to add more energy, emotion, or specific examples, let me know. Go out there and deliver it like a legend. The difference between those who change the world and those who simply exist in it comes down to one thing: vision. Vision is not just about seeing what's in front of you, it's about seeing what could be, what should be, and having the audacity to chase it. It's the invisible force that separates leaders from followers, creators from consumers, and legends from the ordinary. A true visionary doesn't just predict the future, they build it with their own hands, shaping reality to match the picture they see in their mind. But vision is not given. It's not something you wake up with one morning, fully formed and clear. It's cultivated. It's earned through curiosity, through relentless questioning, through refusing to accept things as they are. A visionary mindset is one that constantly asks, what if? What if this could be simpler? What if this could be better? What if we could do the impossible and the world will resist you for it? It always does. Because vision threatens comfort. It disrupts industries, rewrites rules, and challenges the status quo. It forces people to confront what they never questioned before. The masses will call you crazy before they call you a genius. They will tell you that your ideas are unrealistic, your dreams too big, your ambition too reckless. But vision is not for the faint of heart. A true visionary does not wait for permission. They do not seek validation. They don't need the world to understand them because they see something the world has not yet caught up to. They move forward with unwavering belief, knowing that the moment they stop to explain, they have already lost momentum. And vision alone is not enough. It must be paired with action. Bold, fearless, relentless action. Because an idea sitting in your mind, no matter how brilliant, is just a dream. It's the execution of that vision that transforms it into something real, something tangible, something that has the power to leave an impact that lasts far beyond a lifetime. Excellence is not a skill, it's not a talent, it's a mindset, an obsession. It is the relentless pursuit of something greater than good, greater than average, greater than what is simply acceptable. Those who achieve true greatness are not satisfied with doing things well. They are driven by an insatiable need to do things perfectly, even when no one is watching, even when no one else cares, even when the world settles for less. To some, this might seem extreme, but obsession is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. It's what makes the difference between something that is good enough and something that changes the game forever. The legendary minds, the innovators, the disruptors, they do not compromise. They do not tolerate mediocrity in any form. To them, every pixel matters, every word matters, every decision matters, because in their world, there is no room for almost perfect. Excellence is not about achieving a result. It's about demanding more from yourself at every stage. It's about refining, improving, and iterating until what you create is not just functional, but exceptional. Until it doesn't just work, it inspires, it captivates, it defines a new standard. But this level of excellence comes at a cost. It requires sacrifice. It means working when others rest, pushing when others stop, obsessing over details that others overlook. It means refusing to accept shortcuts even when they save time. It means putting in the effort that others aren't willing to. It's an unyielding commitment to something bigger than convenience, bigger than deadlines, bigger than expectations. And this obsession isn't just about the outcome. It's about the process. The best in the world fall in love with the work, with the craft, with the journey. They chase excellence not because someone is watching, not because there's a reward at the end, but because they cannot imagine doing it any other way. Because to them, excellence is not an act, it's a way of life. There are those who see this level of intensity as unnecessary, as too much. They believe that good enough is good enough. They settle, they stop improving. But the ones who truly change the world, the ones whose work lasts, never do. Because they understand that excellence is not a destination, it is a commitment, a standard. A way of thinking that refuses to accept anything less than the best. Failure is not the enemy, it is not the end, it is not a sign to stop. In fact, failure is the most powerful tool for growth, the ultimate test of resilience, and the fuel that drives innovation. The people who change the world are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who fail the most, learn the fastest, and refuse to stop. The truth is, failure is inevitable. If you are pushing boundaries, if you are doing something that has never been done before, you will fail again and again and again. The only way to avoid failure is to never take risks, never try anything new, never challenge yourself beyond your comfort zone. And that is the surest path to mediocrity. Because the greatest ideas, the biggest breakthroughs, the boldest innovations, they were all born from trial, error, and persistence. But most people fear failure. They see it as a reflection of their worth, as an embarrassment, as a reason to quit. That mindset is the reason most people never build anything great. Legends, on the other hand, embrace failure. They welcome it. They expect it. Because they know that with every failure, they are getting closer to success. Failure is not a stop sign. It is a signal, a message, telling you what needs to be improved, what needs to be adjusted, what needs to be done differently. Every misstep, every setback, every rejection is just another piece of data, another lesson learned, another stepping stone to mastery. The only real failure is failing to learn. The only real failure is walking away. And failure tests more than just your ability to improve. It tests your mindset. It asks you, how badly do you want this? How much are you willing to endure? Will you rise? Or will you break? Because when failure hits, and it will, the weak will find excuses and the strong will find solutions. The legends, the pioneers, the disruptors, they don't let failure define them. They use it, they analyze it, they adapt, and they come back stronger. They don't dwell on their mistakes, they turn them into momentum, because in the end, the people who win are not the ones who avoid failure, they are the ones who know how to turn failure into fuel. The world has always belonged to those who dare to think differently. Every breakthrough, every revolution, every moment that changed history happened because someone refused to follow the crowd. They looked at the world not as it was, but as it could be. And they didn't just dream about it, they acted, they dared, they moved. Thinking differently is not just about having unique ideas. It's about seeing possibilities where others see limitation. It's about questioning rules that everyone else blindly follows. It's about challenging assumptions that have gone unchallenged for too long. Most people accept the world as it is. They accept the systems, the traditions, the so-called truths that have been passed down for generations. They believe that things are the way they are because that's the way they've always been. But those who truly change the world, they reject that mindset. They refuse to accept limitations. They don't just think outside the box, they destroy the box entirely. But thinking differently is only half the battle, because ideas, no matter how revolutionary, are worthless without action. Bold action. Fearless action. Action that defies the odds and refuses to wait for permission. The world does not change by ideas alone. It changes when someone has the courage to step forward and make those ideas real. And that is where most people hesitate. They hesitate because bold action comes with risk. It invites criticism. It makes people uncomfortable. It forces you to stand alone while the rest of the world watches, waiting for you to fail. But acting boldly is the price of making history. It's easy to think differently in the comfort of your own mind, but when it's time to step up, to take that first step, to put your work into the world, to challenge the norm, that's when most people shrink back. They second-guess themselves, they let fear take over, they wait for the perfect moment that never comes. And that's why the world stays the same. That's why most people never leave a mark. Because bold action is uncomfortable, it's uncertain, it requires you to move forward even when you don't have all the answers, even when the path ahead is unclear, even when failure feels like an inevitability. But here's the truth, every great idea, every innovation, every world-changing movement was once just an unproven concept that someone believed in enough to act upon. Every company that redefined an industry, every leader who reshaped society, every invention that transformed the way we live, it all started with someone who was willing to risk everything to bring their vision to life. Most people will never take that leap. They will sit on their ideas, convincing themselves that the timing isn't right, that they need more experience, that someone else will do it first. And in the end, their ideas die with them, unlived, unrealized, forgotten. But the bold, they don't wait. They don't hesitate. They don't ask for approval. They see a different future and they move toward it with relentless determination, no matter the cost. Because they understand something that most never will. The world does not belong to those who conform. It belongs to those who think differently and act boldly. There comes a moment in the life of every visionary, every pioneer, every leader, when they are met with resistance. When the world questions them, doubts them, pushes against them with everything it has, when the voices around them say, "This is impossible, you will fail, this cannot be done," and in that moment, the difference between those who change history and those who fade into obscurity is one thing: conviction. Not just belief, not just hope, unshakable, unwavering, relentless conviction. A deep, unbreakable certainty that what you are building, what you are creating, what you are fighting for is worth every risk, every struggle, every setback. Conviction is what keeps you standing when everything else tells you to sit down. It is what keeps you moving forward when the road is unclear, when doubt creeps in, when failure seems inevitable. It is the fire inside that refuses to die, no matter how many storms try to put it out. Because here's the truth. The world will always doubt bold ideas. It will always resist change. It is built on comfort, on familiarity, on the safety of what is already known. It does not welcome disruption. It does not make room for those who dare to do things differently. The second you try to break away from the norm, to create something extraordinary, the world will test you. It will throw obstacles in your path. It will try to wear you down, to make you second-guess yourself, to convince you that your vision is nothing more than a foolish dream. And most people? They give in, they shrink, they compromise, they let the weight of doubt crush their belief. But those with unshakable conviction, they don't break, they don't back down, they don't ask for permission, they do not seek, they do not need the world to understand them, because they understand themselves. They know, without hesitation, without question, that what they are doing matters, and no amount of rejection, no amount of failure, no amount of resistance will stop them from moving forward. Conviction is not arrogance. It is not blind stubbornness. It is the quiet, immovable force that separates those who dream from those who do. It is what turns ideas into action, action into momentum, and momentum into a legacy that cannot be ignored. Because every person who ever built something truly great, every innovator, every leader, every game changer, had moments where the world told them they were wrong, and they had every reason to quit, every reason to walk away. But they didn't. They stayed the course, they endured the criticism, they took the hits and kept moving forward, and in the end they proved the world wrong. Not because it was easy, not because they had all the answers, but because they refused to stop believing. That is conviction. That is what it takes. That is the mindset of those who leave a mark so deep that the world is never the same again. There are two paths in life. One leads to applause, the other to impact. One is about being liked, the other is about leaving something behind that truly matters. And the hard truth is this: most people choose popularity over legacy. They chase approval, validation, and recognition, believing that success is measured in followers, in praise, in how many people admire them at any given moment. But the ones who truly change the world do not care about being liked. They do not wake up every morning wondering how they can please the crowd. They are not driven by applause because they know that applause is fleeting. What is celebrated today is forgotten tomorrow. The masses are fickle. They cheer for you one moment and in the next they move on. But legacy is forever. Legacy is not built on trends. It is not built on chasing what's popular, what's safe, what guarantees approval. It is built on bold, unshakable principles. It is built by those who are willing to go against the grain, who are willing to be misunderstood, who are willing to stand alone in the pursuit of something greater than themselves. Because here's the reality: if you choose to build something truly meaningful, you will not always be popular, you will not always be understood, you will not always be celebrated. In fact, you will face resistance, criticism, doubt, and even hostility. People will question your decisions, mock your vision, and tell you that you are wrong. And if your goal is popularity, this is where you will stop. This is where you will compromise. This is where you will betray your own vision just to make others comfortable. But those who build legacies do not flinch in the face of opposition. They do not trade their mission for approval. They do not bend their principles just to fit in, because they understand that greatness is not about how many people like you, it is about how many lives you change. The most impactful figures in history were not always popular. Many were rejected, many were hated, many spent years, sometimes lifetimes, being misunderstood. But they kept going, not because they wanted to be admired, but because they wanted to build something that mattered. And long after they were gone, their work continued to shape the world. This is the difference between legacy and popularity. Popularity fades, legacy grows. Popularity is about today, legacy is about forever. Popularity seeks applause, legacy seeks impact. The question is, what are you chasing? Do you want to be remembered for being liked, or do you want to be remembered for what you built, what you changed, what you left behind? because those who chase popularity are forgotten the moment the crowd moves on. But those who build legacies are remembered long after they are gone.